Kalatengu village in Bautan Commune, Ziling District, Lamdong Province, where many Kho ethnic people live, today witnesses a busy day for Mr. Brel, the village head. He and UNRES interlocutors have arranged radio equipment, speakers and meeting room for the village meeting very early in the morning. It was very difficult for the villagers to understand climate change, REDD and planned UNRED activities explained by the interlocutors for the first time. Then a moment when the villagers felt like a fish out of water has passed and left behind a gleam in their eyes, surprisingly looking at the interlocutors' gestures and then smiling and shaking hands with interlocutors and parting when the meeting ended. Indeed, it is miraculous for the villagers who have begun perceiving climate change issues that are not easy to understand through the motivator's interpretation. UNRED is a program on reducing emissions through forest protection and development. Today, there are signs of extremely changing climate in the Central Highlands. It has been getting unusually warmer in Lamdong. Here it usually starts to rain in March and April. At the moment there is only little rain. There has not been much rain since 1990-1992. It was the El Niño effects that resulted in drying coffee trees and dehydrated streams. Before I could sleep well and work comfortably thanks to the forested atmosphere. But now I cannot eat, sleep well since it is too hot. The UN program on reduced emissions from deforestation and forest degradations, or UNRED in short, initiated its activity through a awareness-raising process in two pilot districts of Ziling and Lamha, Lamdong Province. UNRED program helps us to closely link economic, environmental and social benefits. Recognizing the importance of local people's awareness, the UNRED program has selected FPIC as the first step in its implementation and based on the guiding principle of free, prior, informed and consent. When conducting surveys and planning activities in Lamdong, we were really worried how to get people's consent for a UNRED program. But at the same time, we did not make them expect too much from REDD, as REDD activities have not been officially implemented in Vietnam. FPIC process involves 8 steps. Step 0. Preparation. A summary of the legal basis for local community engagements FPIC in Vietnam and communication materials are prepared. Prepare communication materials, advance consultation with provincial and district authorities on the proposed process are conducted. Step 1. Local awareness raising involves such activities as workshops organized to raise awareness among local officials at district, commune and village levels. This included 9 training workshops on awareness raising at communal levels, which have been performed by experts from the University of Dalat, leading a premise of success for the village meetings conducted later on. Besides, the program has sent its mobile motivators to villages and households for distributing leaflets, putting up posters, and talking with the villagers. Steps 2 and 3. Recruitment and training of interlocutors. The motivators are provided with skills, right attitudes and knowledge to work with local people. But that is not an easy task, as the locals are different. They are teachers, ethnic officials, and indigenous people. Step 4. Preparation of village meeting. The interlocutors make a visit before the village meeting takes place. They contacted the village head and villagers to prepare for the FPIC meeting. We first need to make friends with local people and start with simple, small things. At 5 p.m. this afternoon, I will go and inform every household in the village to participate in the village meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Step 5. The village meeting. The role that the interlocutors play is very important, not only for interpreting what climate change, REDD and UN-REDD mean, but also responding to questions and concerns raised by villagers during discussion sessions. Local people are really concerned about climate change and the REDD project, but they also wonder how far the project will go. Some people hardly understand, but others can understand since they pay attention to the meeting. Ethnic interlocutors represent a gain in ethnic language, and people well understand the issues. Step 6. Recording decision on consent. Having been consulted, the villagers expressed their decisions on consent or non-consent through balloting to participate in the program. What a surprise! The local people consent percentage was very high. In the village meetings, I have recently seen that most people understand the benefit of forests and trees, so people consent with it. Step 7. Interlocutors documents and report to the Vietnam UN-REDD program. Step 8. Verification and evaluation of FPIC process through independent evaluations, and then lessons learned during the implementation shall be widely disseminated. The UN-REDD program will help local people further understand that by protecting the forests, they should get more benefits. However, in the past, we didn't do some of the things properly. We were not consistent, and sometimes our activities were overlapped. As a result, local people are reluctant to join us. When local people are selected, it builds a bridge between people from the universities and local people. The more we work together, the more we can see the results. The local people have perceived their decisive role in the protection of forest resources and understood benefits from their participation in UN-REDD and thus agreed to support upcoming UN-REDD activities. This is the key and a worthy point. The village meetings have created a good opportunity for awareness among the villagers, and from what they have become aware of, will need to change in their attitudes towards actions to protect natural resources. We understand that everyone has to protect the forest, and no one is allowed to cut down trees. The compilation of communication materials and the design of training manuals, posters and leaflets have been attached importance by UN-REDD, as they are significant vehicles to carry outreach information to the local people. UN-REDD brings us good posters and leaflets. They are easy to understand. Communication materials should be consistent. They should link scientific facts on climate change to forests and REDD, but at the same time, they also need to be easy to understand. Vietnam is one of the first 9 countries participating in UN-REDD. FPIC activities that took place in Vietnam have attracted attention from other international programs and national agencies and institutions, especially NGOs and other projects. Experiences consolidated in Vietnam could be good lessons for reference by other countries.
cho đến nay thì bà con ở các điểm mà chúng tôi đến thì đều
To date, people at places we have visited voluntarily took part in the program. Villagers were informed at least one day before the activities. Local people have been provided with basic information on climate change, REDD and projects that are planned to be implemented in the area. At the places we visited, we got the consent of the local people at a high percentage. These are strong points. The FPIC meeting has not only raised awareness of climate change and REDD among the villagers, but also created a dynamic that is unity, cooperation, sharing.
Cụ thể là tất cả các già làng và các thôn bản đều cố gắng họ
All the village leaders try their best to participate in the village meetings.
REDD theo đúng triển khai của chủ tịch xã và các cán bộ thôn.
A new day began with the echoes of gong resounded over high mountains and jungles. This wonderful sound seemed to be magnified in the atmosphere of green forest with vitality. This enjoyment is shared with the villagers' radiant smiles as they have believed in REDD implementation and look forward to the day REDD payment mechanisms will be officially implemented in Vietnam. Thank you for visiting us, and we do hope the program will soon be implemented to create better working and living conditions for the local people. The UN REDD program's presence is really a strong support given to forest-based ethnic communities and allow forests to be well protected and developed, contributing to climate change prevention, poverty reduction, and biodiversity conservation in a sustainable manner.